told me how she'd been seeing Kim and some other girls swimming in Gunnarson's pool, and how he sits out there the whole time, leering at them.
See what I mean? That's when you should have talked to her. Kimmy should have known what was on the old goat's mind. Then maybe she wouldn't have kept on teasing him until he probably couldn't control himself.
I told her she was not to go up there anymore.
Yeah, and then you took away her bathing suit. Don't you think you should have told her what it was all about?
How could I know that something like this could happen? Nobody knows anything about him. He doesn't have any family. It's just him, alone in that big house. I thought it was enough to tell her to stay away.
Okay, then what happened Saturday night?
I've been working a double shift because one of the girls was sick. I got here about midnight, and Gordon told me Kim had been out after dark and had come home with her hair dripping wet.
And she wasn't wearing any panties.
She lost her underwear. So I went upstairs to give her a good talking to. And she wasn't in bed. I was frantic. Gordon said I should check Gunnarson's, so I went up there. And when I got there, the house was dark. She wasn't back by the pool, so I looked in the windows. It was dark, but there was just enough of moonlight that I could see in there sitting in the moonlight, naked as a tadpole playing with some stick.
And Mr. Gunnerson?
In the back bedroom.
Pretending to be asleep.
I got her out, and I called the police. They suggested I take her to the hospital.
Okay, well, if she can manage to testify, there's a good chance that he's going to be put away, or at least be put into therapy for his problem. You know, there's a lot more awareness about this sort of thing than there used to be. When I was growing up, there was a similar incident in my neighborhood, and nothing was ever done about it.
Do I have to sign anything or anything? If not, I'm going out for a six-pack.
Finished all that beer already? I never used to drink so much before all this.
Well, he's under stress. You both are. I'm sure he'll be able to deal with it eventually. Perhaps I could arrange counseling for you both, in addition to Kimberly.
No, we don't need that sort of thing. Thanks anyway.
Okay, think about it, though. Maybe I should try talking to Kimberly once more before I leave.
I'll call her. Kimberly, come down here, baby. Kim. Kimberly, come down here this minute.
Maybe she went out to play.
No, she was not to leave this house. Kimberly! Kimberly!
The doorbell rings. Mrs. Kent answers, then screams, and tries to shut the door when she sees Mr. Gunnerson, who gradually forces his way into the house with his walker.
Wait! Mrs. Kent, I need to talk to you. It's about your daughter.
Kimberly! Where is she? What have you done with my baby?
She was in my house again. The police said I was not to have any contact with her or I would be arrested again. But how can I do that when she keeps breaking into my house?
Where is she?
I don't know. She ran away. But this time she took something of mine, a valuable piece of ivory. Mrs. Kent, I know you won't believe me, but I have to tell you, I have never done anything to harm Kimberly. I could never do such a thing. I could never even think it.
This woman, she's from the police. If you don't leave right now, she'll take you away.
I'm Dr. Perlman. I'm representing the court. Mr. Gunnerson, it is imperative that you have no contact with the child. If you are innocent, you will have your chance to prove it in court.
Yes, innocent. I am innocent. It was all innocent.
Okay, Mr. Gunnerson, you need to leave immediately. I cannot be found talking to you without your lawyer present.
What lawyer? I don't need a lawyer. I have committed no crime.
Mr. Gunnerson, do I have to call the police?
If you call them, I'll tell them again what I have already told them. If the child was hiding in my house, it was because she was frightened. Whoever she was frightened of, that's who they should be looking for, not me.
Mr. Gunnerson, please leave. Now.
No! No. stay. I want to hear what he has to say for himself.
Mrs. Kent, I really do not think this is a good idea.
I need to know, to understand. How could a grown man do something like that?
Could I be the sort of person who could harm a child? Do you think because I have none of my own I cannot appreciate them? Children are the hope and redemption of all of us, not just their parents. They are life. For years I'd forgotten that. For 16 years. Apparently more than my pelvis was crushed in that accident. And then recently a miracle occurred. Not that I could walk again, but that I could live again. I remember distinctly, I was dozing over some depressing book of philosophy. My nap was interrupted by sounds. Strange, beautiful sounds, joyful sounds calling to me, calling like the bells of a distant chapel. The sounds of laughter, children's laughter. A sound that if I'd heard it before, it must have been a lifetime ago. The laughter came from my own backyard, from my swimming pool. And 2 other little girls. I chased them off, of course, I was very stern. But your daughter, she wasn't frightened at all. She saw through me. She asked me quite directly why they could not continue to swim there. I had no answer.
But didn't you realize it's dangerous?
On land, I am as you see me. But in water, I am as a fish. I could have rescued any of them easily if the need arose. As it was, though, it was I who was in need of rescue. Not from drowning, but from despair. So I told them they could always return, but only if their parents allowed it, and only as long as I was there to watch them.
I told her she could go swimming. And I didn't realize where she was going. I should pay more attention.
I had the pool put in when I got the settlement from the insurance. The doctors told me it'd be good for me to swim. I realize now what I needed was not physical therapy, but spiritual therapy. With the children coming, the pool had begun to furnish that as well. I looked forward to their visits more and more each morning. Life had started to become important to me again. There might not be a heaven, or there might not be a hell, but there surely is immortality. Children are our continuity, our hope, our renewal, as rotten as we human beings may be. Perhaps God hasn't given up on us yet. He keeps giving us another chance. The children.
So that's all you did? Sit by the pool and watch them? You never took them into the house?
Oh, once I did. It was going to rain. I thought they might like to see my collection.
Collection? Collection of what?
Oh, things, objects, artifacts. I was in the merchant marine for many years. I brought home items from every port. Chinese jade, Indian brass, Persian miniatures, African masks, a mummified crocodile from a pharaoh's tomb, and from the Faroe Islands, the spiral tusk of a male narwhal. I once thought these things would give me pleasure in my old age, but I rarely notice them now. Things are only wonderful if there is someone to wonder at them. Perhaps the girls might find them interesting, educational, I thought. Well, your daughter did, more than the other two.
But what happened Saturday? You were alone with Kimberly.
Well, no, not at first. She came with the others, but she said she'd lost her bathing suit and asked if she could swim in her shorts. It seemed a harmless request, but no, it didn't work out well. They slipped off as she dove in because they got waterlogged, as did her drawers, and the other girls giggled and teased her, and she was embarrassed. And then one girl retrieved the drawers from the bottom, and I expected her to return them, but instead she tossed them to the other, and then they both ran off, as if expecting Kimberly to chase them down the hill naked. Oh, she stayed in the pool. She was near tears.
And you just watched all of this without doing anything?
They were just being children.